fellow host.
No, we're both co-hosts.
Both my fellow co-host.
Yeah.
Harry Gumbold.
I'm Harry.
Guests, Pope.
You okay?
Pope. Benedict Seventh. Yeah, please.
Okay, hello, welcome to the Instead to Me podcast. I'm co-host Harry with my other co-host Liam. Today we have
Hi. Yeah.
today we have Ignacy on the podcast. So Ignacy, what topic have you brought us today?
Good evening. I brought the topic of religion.
Yeah, and it is quite a topic, isn't it, Liam?
Yeah. Oh, it is quite a topic.
So you do
compared to your topic during your last podcast, I believe this is a more intriguing topic.
Yeah, if anything, it affects more people's lives.
Topic. Yeah,
absolutely.
One of the topics of all time, in my opinion.
I mean, personally, I don't even remember the last topic.
Yeah,
it's dead to me in a way.
It
Winks.
is.
Yeah.
I can't even remember it.
Yeah, I think it was tax evasion.
Probably.
I wouldn't know anything about that, but. So, obviously, we have to start with the best. The best question is, which religion is which religion is the best?
Which religion is the best?
Yeah, objectively.
Objective.
No,
well,
yeah.
Use math, preferably.
Yes. Okay. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use science.
You can't just write your answer. You have to show you're working out.
Preferably use science.
Yeah.
Preferably.
Nah, maybe.
You
can leave on the side. Always time.
Well,
he's about to pull out. He's about to pull out a dictionary.
Following logical reasoning.
Yeah, use logical reasoning.
Following logical mathematical calculations, it would appear to me that, mathematically speaking, the best religion in the world is Roman Catholicism.
Is that's like a kind of Protestant, right?
No, it's the opposite of Protestant. You see, the damn Protestants came about from Catholicism because they were unhappy with what we were doing. However, they had no reason to go away from Catholicism because we were able to improve and thus become the supreme religion that we are today. And following mathematical reasoning, it's obvious that Catholicism is supreme because we have had many great mathematicians such as René Descartes.
Yeah, he was famously had a mental breakdown and then went to God to get out of his depression.
Irrelevant. And George Lemaitre, who is the Big Bang Theory guy.
The Big Bang Theory guy?
Yeah, that's how I know him.
So, you're saying that...
Mender.
You said... Yeah,
but, you know.
That's a great point. So you're saying that Catholicism used to be bad back when they, we all know what they did. They sold... They tricked the masses and everything, and then they became good and never had any problems since that time. That what was it? Then Martin Luther, like Roman Catholicism, not committed any heinous crimes.
Yeah.
Since then,
we are all imperfect in the eyes of God.
Some of us more imperfect than others, would you say?
But it's quite clear that God's primary religion is Catholicism.
God, does he have side hustles? What do you mean his primary religion?
We're getting some insight on the man himself.
Yeah, God's got some.
God's got a side bitch.
Yeah, God's got a side bitch. What? So I won't. So let's just circle back for a second. You're saying that no, I don't know, let's say priest has done any heinous action since when Martin Luther broke up the church.
Did you not hear what I said? I said that we are all imperfect.
Yeah, I don't.
As people on earth. we all sin, and we can't blame the actions of certain people on the whole. It's like when you look at the ideas such as Islamic terrorists in general. Islamic terrorists are a minority, a significant minority of Islam.
Yeah, but like, I suppose that's an interesting
case. Looking at the idea of, as you just said, Catholic priests, they're also sinners, and although the church has sometimes covered up these issues,
that's
something issue, that actually that has to be combated, and I hope that in the future this becomes a completely eradicated issue that we can deal with, and it is being dealt with accordingly, although sometimes not effectively, and it's still being quite problematic. It's being dealt with quite well, in my opinion, at this time. But there's also the same issues occur with Protestant clerics, Protestant pastors, and actually, statistically speaking, in terms of percentages, although there's less Protestant pastors than Catholic priests, there's a greater percentage of Protestant pastors who have been involved in sexual abuse than Catholic priests.
Yeah. That's an interesting answer. I believe Liam, my co-host, and I share the same sentiments. That seems like that's a real pussy bitch way to answer that question.
It is.
Yeah, so
I think kind of political with
yeah,
your
statements. Kind of beta male cook.
Yeah, I thought as the Pope, you'd have some say.
I mean, he is the Pope. Yeah,
he is. What do you say to these accusations?
How long have you been Pope now?
Well, to these accusations, we all know that the Supreme Pontiff, the true Pope, is Pope Francis.
Yeah, and you agree with that 100%, right?
Absolutely.
I really love Geese fucking up our audio.
Yes. So would you say that you are also a sinner due to the fact that you are leveraging the reputation of the Pope as your own?
Could you say this question?
No, I am not leveraging the reputation of the Pope as my own. But we must remember that we are all sinners. You, me, the Pope.
Of course.
Everyone.
Of course. This leads to the real question: who do you think could win a dance battle, the devil or Jesus?
That is a great question.
Oh, that is a great question. But I think that because Jesus always wins,
does he?
Then Jesus would win a dance battle.
All I'm saying, I mean, I not to disagree with you, but Jesus did get nailed to a cross and die like a bitch.
I did nail Jesus.
But he did come back
Liam
to
was
life.
there.
I was there.
He did come back to life.
He did, but at the same time,
nailed Jesus.
I mean, if you get kicked in the balls, you still got kicked in the balls even if you get back up again.
Yeah.
Yes,
but he did kind of lose.
Yeah. He lost his balls.
He did.
He died for the sins of the people, saying he didn't lose.
Yeah.
Because ultimately he won as the Son of God.
I mean, that happened. That we do know now. A recent scripture came out that the Catholic Church has actually agreed that was a missing part of the Bible where they mentioned that Jesus did get his balls cut off.
Yeah. Jesus is a eunuch.
Did they know?
He was smooth down there like a Ken doll.
Yeah.
So they won't admit it, obviously, but Jesus wanted to represent all people, so he came as non-binary.
Yeah, exactly.
And went by they them pronouns. Actually cut the eyelashes out of one of the things of Jesus. It's the only thing that made him look androgynous.
Well, well, considering that there are only two genders, it's impossible for Jesus to
You would say that.
He would.
Because he would have represented the people, as in the two or maybe not the two genders that one. He basically, because everyone's human, he represented humans.
I'm just saying, like, personally speaking, as a woman,
Are you saying that non-binary people are not human?
That is an interesting point.
Pardon?
Are you saying that non-binary people are not humans?
No, that is not what I'm saying. I am saying that there are only two genders, so non-binary people, in one way or another, have to accept that they are either male or female, and they can find that out based on looking down their pants.
Okay, it's getting a bit heated here. I think maybe we should move on topic, Lynn.
Yeah.
So,
No longer religion.
How
this is just
big
talking
do you
about
think
gender
God's
theories.
cock was?
I was about to ask the same thing.
It's
Oh
an
my god!
interesting
If I'm
Are we
being
talking-
honest.
Are we talking about a chicken?
No.
No,
His
it's
penis.
It's phallus.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Like how, like to birth that many.
because it had to reach down from heaven to Mary.
They did. Had to give her a little.
considering that God the Father is a spirit, he couldn't have.
He has a ghost
can't have
penis.
a phallus,
Ghost
so
dick.
therefore he wouldn't have. He
Ghost
can't have
dick.
any form of phallus.
How do you know
So
that?
I'll be honest.
ultimately, God is a spirit.
I can't worship a god by a
Only-
dick.
Only humans and animals can have genitalia,
See, me and Liam
and
both
God as a
were.
spirit can't have
yeah.
genitalia.
Me and Liam were both raised Neo-Greek paganism. So
Yeah.
we our gods, they fucked.
They got around.
Yeah.
They fucked.
Yeah.
Yes, but then it
Interestingly enough, Zeus actually started Hades.
It's true.
Yes, but looking through further studies, as people decided to discover more about God and gods, they discovered that there is only one God, as it is revealed in the Bible, actually.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is that if I don't slaughter at least 7 crocodiles each month, I don't get a bountiful harvest. All I'm saying is
Yeah.
I pray to your God, am I going to get a bountiful harvest? Or am
I
I going
doubt
to
it.
pray to my semen god Sobek?
Yeah.
I get as much goddamn harvest as possible. All I need to do is, kill about,
Exactly.
what, 10, 20 crocodiles?
Yes, not many.
Yeah.
They're not going extinct.
Yeah, but what you're doing is you're leading crocodiles to extinction, and when all crocodiles die, what will you have to kill then?
God, I thought we were the
Well,
progressives.
I think
Crocodiles
Sobek
are
will
going
figure that one out.
extinct.
I believe in my
Goddamn
God.
liberal.
And can we just bring back a prior point you made, that the Bible states that there is only one God. Are you implying then that every other holy book is false?
That's a good point.
Yes. Apart from the Torah, which contains the first 5 books of the Bible.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
What? Well,
Yeah, it does.
would you say
Search it up.
worth a Google?
Huh.
You can't use company names.
Worth a Google.
Yeah.
You get
That's what I
sued.
said.
Worth an oogle.
Oogle?
Ogle.
Ogle.
Yeah.
Ogres.
Ogres.
Ogres have layers.
Goblins. They're real.
Goggle.
Would you agree
Goblins
with
are
this?
real. Yeah. All I'm saying is I won't believe in a god who made goblins.
Yeah, like
Goggle.
Sobek.
Sobek didn't make goblins.
Nah, you
So
can
bad.
chill.
Sobek is the semen lord.
Yeah.
So he definitely had a huge penis.
Yeah.
That's why I personally believe in him over Yahweh.
Yeah.
Well, as a spirit, he wouldn't have had anything.
How do you know
Well,
that?
Sobek was a
Form of
big
genitalia.
penis.
Do you know my God, Sobek?
Yeah.
Do you know him personally?
Because we do.
Yeah.
No, I don't. There is only one God,
I mean,
which
we've-
we all know who it is.
All I'm saying is I've never
Well,
met the
which we have
Catholic
already
God.
decided-
I have
Yeah.
met Sobek.
No, the Christian
Exactly.
God. Correction.
Christian God.
Are you saying that you stole from the Christians?
No.
That would be
The
a
majority
rather...
of the current Christian churches that are about came after Catholicism.
Yeah. But so Mormonism is technically a kind of Christianism.
Hmm.
Would you argue that as right as the rest of the Christians?
Pardon?
Would you argue Mormons as right as the rest of the Christians?
Do Mormons believe that Jesus Christ is actually God?
I believe so. They just believe it happened in America.
Yes. Well, they have a different system of belief within Christianity.
One of the
yes.
I mean, speaking of Mormons, do you practice soaking?
I don't have enough knowledge to talk about Mormons, but other groups such as Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, which calls into question their validity.
Yeah. So, but do you believe in soaking?
I do not believe in soaking because I believe that all forms of abstinence outside of marriage should be kept.
Yeah, but I'd argue sex is the act of thrusting, and soaking doesn't involve that, so it's fine.
No, but it does, because it can lead to ejaculation.
Not if I put a cap on it.
Exactly.
Put a cork in there?
You never heard of a chastity
So it
lock?
can still lead
Chastity
to
lock?
actual ejaculation.
No, because I'll put a cork in it.
No, but your phallus will actually pump out semen.
But what if I don't have any?
What if I don't produce semen? What if my dick don't work?
His dick don't work. It's
Yeah,
true.
my dick doesn't.
Yeah.
My dick doesn't. I thought you said you were going to bring this up.
Well, you mentioned it first.
Yeah. But yeah, how can God fix my dick?
Can Yahweh do that?
I think it would be
How many Hail
More
Marys
like-
do I have to say?
How many rosary beads do I need?
I think it would be better to see a doctor.
I don't trust doctors in the modern age. They tried to give me a vaccine.
Well,
Yeah.
no, that's quite
I won't.
which
I
church
won't.
was it?
I won't take vaccines.
Yeah.
They've got giblets in there.
Yeah, they have. Got those 5Gs in that.
Sounds like quite a Church of Christ the Scientist thing to say, where you reject all forms of medical science. But God doesn't want us to reject all forms of medical science. He wants us to embrace all the majority of forms of medical science to help us whilst on earth. And although we should go towards prayer to help us, we should also go towards medicine as forms of God's assistance whilst on earth.
That's
Because as we know, the Church of Jesus Christ Scientists was formed in the 19th century, and after many years, it was formed because they were too worried about scientific and medical practices, and they didn't take medicine, and they didn't go to the doctors when they need to, and their children eventually just began dying after years.
Good old days.
Yeah, children just began
Just
dying
got out.
because their parents
It's probably like
just
so many
didn't
beta
let them
just
go
got
to
out.
the
to be quite
doctors.
honest.
But
Yeah.
Jesus Christ wants us to go to doctors, and yes, it's important that if you do have any form of issues with your genitalia or any other part of your body, then you should absolutely go and see a doctor.
So,
I'll recommend as soon as possible,
yeah. So,
even if that means going to accident and emergency in your
What
local
if-
hospital.
yeah. So you're saying you should trust doctors. What if, let's say, for example, medical therapists recognize a disease that the church disagrees with?
Pardon?
I don't know, but maybe medical
Are we
professionals have different
talking about-
opinions.
Yes, well, we can't.
For example,
there
gender
are
dysphoria.
certain things. Yeah, there are certain things that well, this is actually interesting.
He's typing. He doesn't know the
Yeah,
official
yeah,
church
I'm
diagnosis.
Oh no.
No, but if we're talking about like stuff like What exactly were you asking about again? No, I'm not typing.
Oh, wait, I thought you were typing, sorry.
I was typing. I was
Oh,
looking
you
at
were.
something. Go on.
Like, yeah, basically just like why wouldn't the religious authorities take into consideration the therapist, doctor therapist, Doctor Psycho, the Wonder Woman villain's opinion on these things.
Well, there are many things that are coming into light within the fields of medicine, health, and we must acknowledge them to an extent. But certain issues, such as gender dysphoria, as you mentioned before, cannot be,
Well, me
in a sense, cannot be ignored. Because, well, there's a few reasons. Firstly, gender dysphoria is, yeah, well, I personally don't know enough to comment.
Oh, interesting.
Although,
yeah,
if someone feels that they do have something that could be called gender dysphoria, they should go and seek psychological care to look into it. But because it's always better to seek psychological care if your mental health is severely down.
Yeah.
And the church isn't meant to be rejecting of such people. In fact, it's meant to be helping such people because the church in itself is, in a sense, a hospital for the sick, as in the sinners.
Yeah. Just like in the 80s, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure what you're referencing.
Oh,
it doesn't matter. But other practices, medical practices, such as abortions, for example.
Yeah, I got a feeling myself.
Yes. Other medical practices, such as abortion, are a bit more. They're not accepted by the Catholic Church because they go against one of the 10 Commandments, which is do not kill. Now, what you're ultimately doing is killing the fetus which is inside the womb, and considering that life does begin at the moment of conception, the laws that are currently in place allow abortions to be made up to a very far point in the fetus's life when it's already quite well developed. Actually could sometimes, when born at that moment, already be placed in an incubator and survive. So actually, they can already feel any pain that would be caused through their death when having an abortion.
I mean, that's very interesting, obviously, because some people even believe that abortions could be done at potentially even up to 18 months after pregnancy.
Yeah,
yes, that is very.
It's very interesting to hear your stance, but I would personally like to ask the Church's stance on postnatal abortion.
Yeah, personally, I mean, I've got this kid, and I've also got this foot.
Personally, I don't think it's too late, even 50 years, 75 years, 100 years down the line.
2 hours?
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a minimum maximum age.
Yeah, honestly,
postnatal abortion is very popular.
Yeah, I'd argue, maybe more people need a bit of a postnatal abortion.
Yeah.
More often.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I think me and the Ten Commandments don't gel too well sometimes. If you know what I'm saying. My guy, Yahweh.
That means you will God.
That I'm subhuman. I don't deserve to live.
I think that you should seek some religious and spiritual well-being to change that.
I mean, again, we do.
I can help you outside of this if you really need to. But as we're speaking about, as you mentioned, postnatal abortions, if we go back to I recall this certain. I'd call him a scholar, but it's hard to say that.
It's hard to say.
A certain man called Peter Singer. As far as I recall, he said that babies up to the age of 28 days should be allowed to be murdered
Yeah, and I agree
if
with this
that is the
stance.
wish of the parents. But that is a very weird stance and
Fa-
a very controversial
Yeah.
stance. In fact, after-birth abortions are a very, very, it's just awfully controversial stance because, I mean, an abortion is one thing, murdering inside a fetus inside the womb, but when the fetus is already no longer a fetus but actually a baby, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
Famously,
mean, how
also a
heartless
stance
do you
held
have
by
to be
Vsauce.
to kill? How heartless do you have to be to kill a living baby?
Not
You
that
know,
heartless.
an
I'd say.
actual baby.
I mean,
I mean,
personally,
you have
I've
to
done it at least 6
quite
times.
Yeah, I would do it again.
emotionally unstable.
Yeah.
You don't even need to pay me
Well, I'm
this
very
time.
sorry to hear that, but that is absolutely just out
Babies
of
are
order.
quite disgusting.
If I put the baby back in, it's fine.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
No, that's
I think that's
no.
what he's saying.
I
No,
would.
I think-
what I'm saying.
All I'm saying is sometimes you want to charge your phone, and grandma's taking up all the plug sockets for their goddamn life support machine, and I need to text Michael. You know what I mean?
I understand. Personally.
You know, sometimes
Well-
I want to do that. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just want to, you know.
Sometimes I'm busy.
Sometimes
okay?
you just want to take an axe and shove it right into your wife's face.
You should always prioritize the issues of other people over your own personal pleasures.
Personal pleasures?
Yes, such as texting Michael and wishing your grandma to be unplugged from life support.
I mean, I can't text Michael without my grandma being off some life support.
Yeah, exactly. So you wouldn't want to unplug your grandma
I
from
would.
life support.
What if I don't like my grandma?
The bitch took me out the will.
Yeah.
I don't care if she lives or dies.
Do I have to
Yeah,
prioritize
other people.
everyone's struggles over my own?
Yeah,
Even
well,
strangers?
Absolutely.
What about people
from
who've
your own
defied the Ten
family
Commandments?
as a
yeah.
priority.
What about gay people?
Who?
Gay people?
Gay people are just as equal on this earth as other people, and they should be treated with just as much respect as anyone else.
I see.
You've lost me.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost right now.
Yeah.
Good.
You lost me there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. You lost?
I lost.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
off to.
Just to loop back around to the original topic,
I don't think that's good.
we're talking about religion in general. So, what do you think of, let's say, of a famous religion, one that's
Not too
something people have been
controversial.
getting into recently, something that's become quite a big phenomenon recently. People have had lots of opinions about it. People's opinions change. There's even been violent outbursts in relation to this religion and the characters and people behind it. What do you think of Jediism?
Jedi's.
Yeah, Jediism. Yeah, Jedi's.
Jediism is a very, in my opinion, controversial religion.
Yeah.
It's very open to incorrect interpretation, and sometimes the systems of belief within it can vary from person to person. In fact, I don't think that any two people within Jediism share the same opinions, as in the same views on said religion. So it's really hard to comment on this, in my opinion, bizarre religion or even philosophy.
Bizarre. That's an interesting one.
Bizarre.
Yes, bizarre.
Bizarro.
Bizarro. That's a great word. Fantastic.
Yes.
I actually
Well-
used to be a thesaurus.
Well, Jediism originally started. No, this is
Yeah.
this is bizarre. This is
I used to
just
be a
amazing.
dictionary.
Originally started in a state that is known for a lot of weird things. That is Texas.
What state? Oh, Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Although I do love
be caught
Texas
dead in
in general,
Texas.
it's such a magnificent state. it also comes across with a lot of weird. It always starts the weirdest things.
Yeah.
The weirdest. Yes.
Like like falling to a bit of snow. they just died. They just everything just stopped.
Yeah.
Quite
It's below 20 Celsius. Drop dead.
everyone
Flies.
died.
Yeah.
It's what happened to Grandma.
Crunch.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
D.
D.
R.I.P. These nuts.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Rest
I
in
don't quite
peace,
understand
Dick.
why this religion, Jediism, is growing across the world. I mean, if you know, are any of you part of this religion?
I used to be, but then my
You
kyber
used to
crystal
be.
stopped
You're a-
working.
You're a convert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was raised Jedi.
You were raised Jedi.
Yeah, my father was Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, but then he was famously stabbed by some bold weirdo. So, you know, I was like, fuck you, Liam Neeson. I'm Audi 5000.
And then
Wow.
we went and got a 250.
What religion did you
Monkey
convert
meal.
to?
£2.50 Big Monkey.
What did you convert to thereafter?
Currently I'm Sobekian.
Oh, yes.
Now you have spoken about Catholicism as your favourite religion, but I was under the understanding that you believed in speakerism.
And what's speakerism? Because I don't even know
Praying
what
to
that
a
is.
speaker. Yeah.
Seems you've been
Yeah,
caught in the
there
act.
was a period of time where I had beliefs in the one and only speaker. But that was a very short time when I had a shift in my faith and I had an uncertainty as to what I believe in. This quickly changed and I ended up realizing that speakerism is not the right path. The speaker is not the one and only true God, and that I have to convert back to Catholicism, which I was able to do quite simply. I confessed the sin of believing in the speaker, and I found my way back to the true God.
So,
And I'm very sorry to all Catholics listening who may have, who may now be unhappy that I ever went or strayed away from Catholicism. And I'm sorry to all who may be listening who believe in the speaker, and we write speaker with a capital S, because I'm sorry, but you don't believe in the true God.
that is a wonderfully put point.
Thank you for the input, speakers.
Most welcome.
I mean, you know, I think the real question is, right now at this point in time, I need to piss.
That is a great question.
Wow. Great segue.
Very inspirational.
Truly inspirational. He believes in golden showerism. Do you have any thoughts on this religion?
I, again, don't know what this religion is. I'm deeply sorry.
Golden showerism refers to pissing. Worshipping the piss. Mostly the piss of others. What would you say about this? What's your opinion?
Yes, well, I believe that this is a form of sexual practice. Am I right?
Not necessarily.
Well, yes, it is.
I think you're pigeonholing the whole golden showerism thing.
Well, what would you call it then?
Sorry?
What would you refer to it as then?
Simply a religion.
The hemorrhoids are back.
Just pop them like a zip.
Just a what?
What? Sorry, what? It's just a religion.
Well, sorry,
I wouldn't.
I'm a bit out of the loop here. What religion are you speaking of?
Talking about golden showerism.
Oh.
See, I wouldn't refer to Roman Catholicism as a sexual practice.
Yeah.
Even though that's been my experience.
Are you a little piss boy?
There are two separate. But talking
Gonna
about
cry?
golden showers,
Gonna
I am
piss your
pretty
pants?
sure the golden showers.
Maybe shit and come.
You should go on this
I've heard a little birdie told me that in the Roman Catholic religion, when you go to mass on Sundays, when you drink out of the chalice, it's actually piss.
Blood piss.
Can I have your
Blood piss?
Yeah.
Piss blood.
Herpes piss. Can I have your input on the subject, please?
Yeah. That's an interesting question.
Is it every Sunday or special occasions?
Yeah.
Do you just drink it in the privacy of your own home? Whose piss is it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone who attends mass
Are you a
drinks
fan of
the
colostomy
blood of
bags?
Christ from the chalice. It's normally just the priests and the deacons and maybe others. At some masses, it will be all attendees, but not always. But speaking of which, the truth is that during the moment of transubstantiation, as mentioned by Saint Augustine, Saint Thomas Aquinas, and as referenced by many other Roman Catholic scholars, it is true that in the Eucharist there is no mention of the content of the chalice being in any way related to urine, or the urine of Jesus Christ, or the urine of anyone. The truth is that the wine becomes consecrated and turns into the blood of Christ, whilst the bread, which is also seen by some as the host, becomes the real body of Christ. So therefore, the answer is no. Although it does become the blood, it does not become urine.
So, I'm sorry. I've got the giggles, as they say. So, obviously, during
transubstantiation.
Transmorphorism. The wine becomes blood, but potentially could it be any form of liquid?
No, only the blood of Christ.
No, I mean,
only the blood.
Does it have to be wine? I'm saying, does it have to be the wine that becomes the blood of Christ?
It has to be wine.
Why
is this? Yeah, that's a.
Although Methodists don't drink alcohol, as far as I'm aware, so they would use other substances like, for example,
urine,
some form of juicy, maybe like apple juice. I think it is something like that. The Roman Catholics do use real wine. Catholics use real wine, even if it only has usually with a small percentage of alcohol. A very small percentage of alcohol.
But why wine?
Becomes transubstantiated into the blood of Christ.
They drank at the time, I believe.
Yeah, well, why don't you just switch it up? You know, I think a lot of people would appreciate that.
Jesus Christ at the Last Supper didn't switch it up. He didn't switch it up. He actually, bread and the wine.
But I mean, I would take Judas's stance on this one. Judas switched it up at the last minute, you know,
he did.
Having a bit of fun.
Yeah, a bit of a hanging himself.
Yeah. You know, everyone likes to switch it up every now and then.
Yeah.
I mean,
like my life in the bedroom.
God became
I
Jesus.
think there is an interesting topic that we have spoken about before.
How did you switch it up?
Sorry. I should
Go on,
segue out of this topic.
What's going on?
How did Judas switch it up?
Judas switched it up. You know, he just changed, you know, switched up. Sorry?
What did he change?
You know.
Jesus knew from the start that there was a traitor, and although he didn't mention exactly who the traitor was, he knew that it was Judas, so he knew all along.
I mean, I wasn't referring to that. That's trivial.
I mean, it's so
No, that's the trivial part.
You're talking.
No, Judas started wearing Crocs instead of sandals. He did.
I did hear about this. It was in the same text.
I've seen it.
The cock and balls getting taken off Jesus, I believe.
Yeah.
What's the difference? I'm wearing Crocs right now.
Are you wearing Crocs? Wait, do you wear Crocs?
You're following the path of Judas.
No, I'm not following the path.
I fucking well, no, because Judas stopped wearing Crocs when he became evil, when the devil possessed him.
Yeah.
Which is what happens in the Bible.
Indeed.
I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe they allude to the fact that the devil was in him.
Do you remember the part when Jesus fucked some prostitutes.
I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry.
Do you remember that part?
What?
The what part?
When Jesus fucked some prostitutes.
That part never happened because Jesus had to also practice celibacy as a clean man.
Well, he was wearing a condom, so I think it was all kosher.
Yeah.
So therefore, although he came to heal people on
He didn't
earth,
come.
including helping prostitutes and other people who needed
Yeah, he really helped them out.
he would have not engaged in any form of sexual intercourse with them because that would have just been completely wrong for him to do.
Well,
Stop it, stepdad.
I heard
I
Jesus Christ was the best cum slinger in the Wild West.
Yeah. I had the same, to be honest.
There was a specific point that I've lost now, which is quite annoying me because it was about a specific discussion we'd had before, and it's now annoyed me that I've lost it.
Oh no.
So I cannot think of another topic to move on to.
How would you rate all the other religions?
Yeah.
Well, there are too many religions.
Well, let's
I mean,
think about
you
the
did
big
bring
ones.
religion to us. You should know.
Yeah.
all of them.
Talking in general, I believe that
Oh, you know religions?
religions
Tell me about every
such
religion.
as, no, wait, let me finish. Gosh, you're late talking when I'm finished.
Sorry.
Right.
I apologise.
No, honestly, people.
My condolences.
Anyway, apologise. Please.
Profusely.
What was I saying?
I'm
right,
really sorry about
I was
that
talking
one.
about religion. Right, so can you shut up? Right.
I'm so sorry.
Talking
Please
about...
don't use such language on my
I-
podcast.
I
It's
think just
Christian
to
friendly.
reiterate Liam's point, he is sorry.
Yeah. Just to reiterate my point that Harry, my gracious co-host, reiterated, I am profusely sorry.
Yeah.
I
Just to
apologise.
re-establish it in the zeitgeist of the
Yeah.
whole podcast, he is indubitably, fully, impotently.
Yes.
Is that one? Sorry about the.
Please let me just
interrupting.
consolidate my statement. In the future, that I'm inconsolable with sadness over my misconduct, and I profusely apologise indubitably.
I've made a severe lapse in my judgment.
Yeah, I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I'd like to apologise. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Right, now that I can talk again, and that I'm not being censored by the radical left,
That's a good point.
It is a good point. I'm a radical leftist.
the religion, the Christian denomination, so I say would probably be the second best behind Roman Catholicism is Orthodoxism. Now, why do I say that?
Let's break it down. TED Talk first. Sorry.
Let's break it down,
So
y'all.
Orthodox. No, I want to justify my point. Right. The Orthodox route was originally part of Catholicism.
Yeah.
But hundreds of years ago, and I mean hundreds, just many hundreds of years ago, both Orthodoxism and Catholicism split from each other. It wasn't that one ripped up away from the other. It was that they both agreed to splitting because Catholics agreed that they should have the Pope, the apostolic successor of Saint Peter,
Yeah.
to whom Jesus gave the
So you're saying it's more of an annulment than a
key
divorce?
to the Pope, and the Orthodox religion said that no, there can't be a Pope, and that's why the Orthodox religion doesn't actually have a Pope. Although if you look at it, it's got a lot of what are they called?
Metropolitan place.
Patriarchs, I think.
Wait, patriarchs?
Patriarch, I think.
Is it like
Yeah,
a?
anyway, they're like
would it
the
be akin
people
to a
who rule-
rabbi?
It's like, you know how Catholics have archbishops?
Yeah.
Or
Wait, so
like
they not
the
have
primate of the
priests
country,
in
the
the
one
Orthodox?
who's fully in charge of a primate. They don't essentially have someone who's fully like in charge, like one person, like
Oh, so it's more
as
like
in someone who's got like
yeah.
the apostolic succession of Saint Peter.
So sort of like the synod,
But I guess
because they're more of like a collective rather than a specific figurehead, I believe.
yeah. Although if you do look at it, the whole religion is still governed by one, let's call it a patriarchs. I honestly can't remember. So even it's still got the head. So even then, they've still got someone who's in charge of the whole thing. So it doesn't quite make sense. It's also quite similar, like, funnily enough, the Anglican Communion, as in the Anglican Church, which is part of the Protestant Church. So, for example, the Church of England is the main church within the Anglican Communion. And although they don't believe in a pope, whereas someone who should be the leader of the whole church, funnily enough, they have one pope of the Anglican Communion, which is the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Sorry, you done?
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, we went.
Yes,
I'm feeling quite a buzz. I feel like this is a very good podcast. I think
you're talking has really elevated my mind. So.
See, with the one with Daniel ended a natural 45 minutes, but I feel like we can keep going if you're okay with that. Do you wanna keep going?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. I think if we're gonna keep going, there's so much to talk about, and there's such a rich topic as
there is absolutely
religion. Obviously, we need to figure the obvious. It's the most spookiest time of year. I'm not just talking about tax time. It's Halloween. What religious figure are you going to dress up as for Halloween?
Well, technically, all Catholics should be acting against Halloween, and I'm one of them. Halloween is a natural evil that celebrates the devil as in Satan. We can't allow Satan to be celebrated.
My personal favorite demon is Asmodeus.
Out of order.
You do you.
What
Satan. Well, basically, what Halloween celebrates is
Satan gaining his equal rights.
And just all evil.
Yeah,
of course.
So what we should be celebrating instead on the 31st of October is Halloween.
Is it All Saints Day, isn't it? Or is that the day after?
No, that's the 1st of November.
Oh, that's yeah.
That's the day after.
Yeah.
Yes, but instead of
we should be preparing for All Saints Day.
Yeah.
Dress up as our favorite saint.
Yeah. The day. Yeah, no. During Halloween, instead of dressing up as these scary evil figures,
like Peter
which
Griffin,
allows Satan to come inside of us, we should be dressing up as saints. And it's actually a beautiful practice that we should all be engaging in.
That is
look how richer you look. Look how better you all look dressed in. Let's say brighter clothing, or just dressed in a more appropriate manner. Than we can't be celebrating the culture of death. We have to be celebrating the culture of life.
Interesting.
And that's why Halloween celebrates the culture of life over the culture of death.
Speaking of saints, what do you say about the fact that most of them are not real?
All saints have been real and have lived on Earth.
That's an interesting. This isn't actually true. So when people such as Romani people came over to more European areas, they used to be Sikhs, but were sort of pressured into Catholicism, and there may potentially be a saint that is actually the Sikh goddess Kali.
Who's that?
I don't know which saint. It's the saint of the Romani people. I wouldn't remember. I know they say Saint Bridget may have been a pagan god, but we can't tell because the English destroyed all the pagan rings. Yeah. We're heavily anti-English podcast here. I'm sure you agree.
Who did you say again?
Saint
Bridget?
Yeah, I think Saint Bridget. I may need to double check that.
Arnie, fact check.
Yeah, Arnie, can you do a fact check for us real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, I haven't come across any saint who would be neither the saint of the Romani people or Saint Bridget as being fake.
I don't know where I read that, but I think it's an interesting, because I imagine.
I'm not saying it's not true.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's false. I'm just saying I haven't found any evidence.
I imagine there was a lot of sort of mythological practice with the saints sort of getting mixed in with that stuff in the early years. So I imagine potentially just from miscommunication and stuff, a lot of the early saints may have not necessarily not been real, but mythologized, such as like Saint George killing
There was different. There were different forms of what would you call it? What I'm talking about is documentation. It was different back then, so documenting a certain saint in them times would have been more difficult. So if one was written down, it may have been overlooked.
Yeah,
so
it's. I think keeping in mind with all the kids that may be doing their Holy Communion, Holy Confirmation, to pick modern saints because they're more likely to be real.
Yes, but
because Bridget is a popular saint, like middle name for saints.
Yeah, but you know who I choose as my confirmation name.
Did you? I don't remember. Was John Paul of Say at the time?
No.
I assume you would have picked them if you could.
No, it was. I chose the name Lucas after Saint Luke the Evangelist.
Oh yeah.
The Gospel writer.
Got the same plot one of
Yeah, and as we know, he is a real saint.
But the saint I chose definitely was a real saint as well.
But
I personally chose Saint Alphonsus of Ligure.
Yes.
He was.
And is he a real thing?
He was, because he was a naval officer, so more modern than some of the ones. Who did you choose? Liam and or Melanie?
Liam and or Spaghetti.
Yeah.
I chose Saint Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nicholas was modern enough, wasn't he? Like, I think he was modern enough that they may have known. I don't know when Saint Nicholas as well. I imagine there was a lot of bullshit involved.
Well, Saint Nicholas was 270 AD.
Was he Russian?
I don't think so.
I think he was Russian.
No, he was of Greek descent.
Wait, Greek? Oh my god, I assumed he was Russian.
He was in the Roman Empire, born in the Roman Empire, and he died in the Roman Empire.
Yeah. I think it's...
Yeah, no, he died. He was born and died on areas that are now Turkey.
I think it's quite insane to think of the fact that like Romans were Italians. That's something that like doesn't fully connect in my brain.
Doesn't click, does it?
Just the idea of like, I mean, obviously they didn't speak Italian, but the idea of them walking around, I guess, eating pasta and such.
Yeah, ancient Romans walking around with pasta pots. You know what I'm saying?
Bit of pizza.
Yeah, bit of pizza.
Yeah.
I'm actually really annoyed because it was fully a question I wanted to ask you, but I can't remember it for the life of me. It was like a debate we'd had like a few times. No, because like it just came in my mind like midway through. That's annoying because it was something we talked about like a few times before.
I must admit that it annoyed me that you pointed out speakerism because I forgot about that and I would have never reminded myself.
The speakerism. He was.
I'll never remind myself that again until you remind me.
He did believe in speakerism. This is true.
No, I was pointing at the crucifix on the wall, and the fact that there was a speaker next to it proved something completely different. I never believed in speakerism.
He said I believe in that, and he was pointing at a vague direction. I said the speaker. so I mean that proves it. He believes in speakerism. Oh, that was I was thinking about. So obviously I've seen a lot of this sort of Bible Belt American Christians talking about people wanting equal rights, and a common argument against it is that Lucifer, the devil himself, was the first to ask for equal rights.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because I love stuff like that. The more like I guess angels and demons and stuff.
And now, of all people, Lucifer asking for better human rights is quite suspicious.
The Lightbringer himself. Is it Lucifer Morningstar? The Lightbringer. He is swanky.
Yeah,
Very
that's my favourite TV show.
Is it? I know there's a TV
I
show.
haven't
I
watched
can't
it.
believe
I've heard.
they based Lucifer in the mythology on the TV show.
See, I know because obviously Lucifer was written by the character was created by Neil Gaiman, who is usually quite like he in DC technically the Christian God is the actual God in it, so therefore Lucifer is also Lucifer, as in the one from the Bible, which is similar to like other. I know he does it the same in Good Omens, where like it is literally meant to be the Christian. Like he does like the classic Bible depiction of the end of the world. I suppose linking it to a question, how would from a Catholic perspective, how would you take people using the writings in creative works?
The writings such as those in the Bible.
Yeah, especially with like stuff like that. Good Omens.
It depends in what way they're used, because if they're used in a positive way, then fine. If they're used in a negative way, then fine. But sometimes there's a series I watched on Netflix. This isn't maybe as extravagant as
is this the one
Lucifer,
you recommended me?
but well, there's a series. Not sure if you've heard of it, seen it, called The Midnight Mass.
Yeah, you recommended it.
It's got 7 episodes, and it's basically I can't remember.
I know Rahul Kohli is one of the actors.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it's got 7 episodes, and just checking right now,
7 Deadly Sins.
each of them has a different title. Like the first episode is called Book 1 Genesis. Second episode is called Book 2 Psalms.
Yeah.
The third episode is called Book 3 Proverbs. The fourth episode is called Book 4 Lamentations. Then it's Book 5 Gospel, Book 6 Acts of the Apostles, and Book 7 Revelation. Which, it's quite obvious what this means. It means that they're all about a different part of the Bible.
I suppose also
Obviously,
you have
this isn't all
7
of it,
being a
but
biblical number.
every episode is basically covering one book of the Bible. Obviously, there's a lot more books in the Bible, but every episode covers one of them 7 books. This film is made by obviously non-Catholics or former Catholics, but the idea of the film is to be technically neither pro or anti-Catholic. So at the same time, it's both pro and anti-Catholic. So it's quite good if you like a mix of things. But the film's interesting. And if you look at it, I would approve of a film or series like that, because it's educational in a sense, but not sure about other like films, to be honest.
I do think
I haven't watched that many other films.
I do think it'd be interesting if you check out Good Omens, because it presents an interesting view. Because the angels in the story are clearly in the wrong, but also we never directly interact with God within the story. So it's implied that God planned it the way it happened all along. So also, obviously, the ending is that the angels and demons were both wrong because they just wanted to war at the end of the world rather than. Sorry, spoilers for Good Omens, but they wanted a war rather than like wanting what's best for the world. While in the end, they're obviously the quote unquote good guys, the demon and the angel, that like the other end up winning. But the implication is that this was God's plan all along, like his ineffable plan, a plan we can never properly understand. Which I think, like, painting the angels in a bad light, would that necessarily be anger Christians? Because, like, I don't know.
Painting God and the angels in a bad light would be. I don't know if it depends it depends on your personality if it would anger you, but in general it's quite rude, I guess, towards Christians, or maybe just something that is just inappropriate.
Yeah, it definitely suggests more that God is a bit of a not necessarily all good or all loving, more like clearly cares about everything. Like, he clearly all-loving in the long run, but more that likes to fuck with people, I guess. Which I wouldn't say is exactly 100% untrue of how the world is in real life.
It's basically that God is
Inexplainable.
technically
You can't
all,
fully
yes,
understand the way that
God is so far detached from the human experience
Well,
that we couldn't possibly comprehend.
no, this is this is actually quite interesting what you're saying. I do get. Sorry, I'm recovering from an illness.
Oh yeah. It's okay.
I'm sorry, but yeah, God. Well, as we know, God is outside of space and time, but we're not going to go into theology right now.
Transcendent.
Yeah.
Because we're just going to be sat here forever. Yeah, because this podcast will just literally never end. But speaking of which, God God sent down Jesus for a reason, and the reason was to connect. Well, it was actually to like repair issues that were going on in the world. But the point was to send the Messiah. But part of it would have been to connect with the world, which is how we have this more humanly connection with God, which is why when quite often you have Catholics, so I can't comment on every single Christian denomination, like Catholics, Orthodox, Protestants would pray quite often when talking of the Trinity. When you look at the Trinity, they quite most often pray to Jesus Christ, because you can relate more to a human figure than to a, in a sense, non-human figure. So like towards God the Father, you can pray, and people do quite often, regularly actually, but it's just more difficult in a sense too.
Yeah.
But it's easier to like pray to Jesus Christ. So in a sense, God has not been detached from humanity. He's always here, and is with us. And the Holy Spirit was sent down after Jesus what's the word, ascended into heaven, exactly for the reason to be here with us as well. Yeah.
I definitely think that's. I suppose more of the issue is the idea of like. I think, at least personally, I would prefer the idea that God isn't perfect, but more the fact that Jesus was a way to repair the idea of Jesus being a way to repair the relationship is more the fact that him. I guess like if you think of him like a parent, more sort of realizing his wrongdoings, and obviously the Old Testament people use a dog of a bloke. Let's be honest. I like the idea that Jesus was more of a way for him to understand why people do what they do and make amends.
Yeah, it's true. Well, obviously we constantly, as time goes on, discovering more about God. There was a Bible quote this week. I can't tell you what it is because I can't remember exactly, but I remember reading it. It was one of the readings, and it was to do with specifically our faith and how we can grow the connection between God and man. That didn't make sense, but how we can form a deep connection, become more attached to Christ. I'm sorry, I can't remember the reading. But like, it just, the reading just sort of from the Bible just showed that actually what we're doing with as time goes on is we're just deepening our relationship with God, not just our relationship, but we're also finding out more about God. So, the more we, the more time goes on, the more we discover. It's like when people used to believe in the, no offense, by the way, when people used to believe primarily in pagan gods.
Yeah.
Eventually there became a point when they realized that actually there's one God. It's mentioned in the Bible actually. And then they began going oh yeah, we're going to pray to this one God. Eventually Jesus Christ came, and then there were those who were like, the Messiah hasn't come yet, and they're the Jews. No offense, by the way, to the Jews. I do like the Jews, actually.
I love that you said the Jews style.
Or those who began believing in Jesus Christ. Then came the Catholic Church, and even with time, as you can see, Christianity in general, even with time, Christianity developed. And looking at the Catholic Church, even the Catholic Church has developed, and it has changed its stance on the world. And just everything on its deep, and I think the Catholic Church is one of the best, as I said before, one of the best religions, because it's shown a sort of appropriate development as to who God is, and we can discover more and more thanks to it. Whilst some religions seem to be going backwards, we're actually going quite forwards. I wouldn't say progressive.
Yeah,
we're getting quite forwards.
I understand that. Like, I see. I mean, that a lot of religions sort of have very fixed meanings of God.
Yeah.
I know, like, at least Jews, for example, often just sort of leave it. We can never understand them.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I mean, personally, I don't believe in God. Mainly, mainly due to the fact that, like, I don't know. See, in my head, it's more because I can't commit to any idea.
Yeah.
Because I definitely used to, like, vehemently believe him. Like, there was not even a doubt at a certain point. And then I found out people don't believe in God. And then like, that instantly I stopped believing him.
People don't believe in God. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was definitely just, like, understood as a default for me. Because, like, I even thought in the cathedral that you could go to heaven.
Yeah, would you say that your prior believing in God was due to the fact that it was the only option you thought was available?
So it's been a lot more professional podcast, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
With Daniel.
Would you agree with that statement?
I feel like we're going to go from, like, a serious episode to, like, just we're having, like, serious discussions about religion, and then the next one's like, I don't know, it's describing dick sizes or some bullshit.
Get a bunch of guests from religion series.
We could
get Daniel next time.
Daniel talking about it.
Oh no, we'd have to have you both on at the same time.
No, don't, because I think you could actually get yourself, blocked.
I mean, we did do a bit where we pretended to do a certain illicit drug.
Yeah.
So I mean, we might get cut off for that. I suppose that's the latest question.
Oh yeah,
I forgot.
Do you agree with my statement?
What was your question?
It was when you said you used to believe in God. I was like, is that because that was probably your only option that you knew of?
Is it because do you mainly believe in Catholicism because it's that default, or do you think you'd turn to it if potentially you'd even be raised atheist?
Who was that?
I was asking you.
You were asking me?
Yeah, like, what do you think that's why you believe? Because that was like the default for you.
Oh, definitely.
Just to get the clarification, but Ignacy,
what do you think? Do you think you would have turned to Catholicism if potentially you were raised a different religion, or even no religion?
I can't say 100% that I would, but if you got to study these things in a sense, if you're turning towards. I mean, there are many people. There's actually an increased number of people who are turning towards, in a sense, Catholicism, whilst also turning away from Catholicism. So
I know a lot of church
it works both ways. Well, I know a lot of Anglican people move to Catholicism, and a lot of atheists
when they allowed women as priests, and they're just like, hang on a minute. My mum agrees with that. I found out.
What?
My mum was like, "Oh fucking hell!" when I told her that they made that women be priests.
How dare they?
She was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, I was like, "Fucking hell!"
Yeah, no. What's surprising is you've got a lot of a lot of women who are like, yeah, we should get female priests, woo, and then there's like a lot of women
Who's just
who
like,
say,
no.
oh, please no, no, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
I definitely think a
So
lot of them
weird.
see it as
Like,
sort of like a
where's the middle ground?
gesture. Do you know, like a gesture just to be like, oh, look, we're helping out. But it's like, are you?
Yeah, literally, it's like there was an idea in the Catholic Church for priests to be able to get married, ignoring the Anglican priests who came over.
Yeah. To be fair, I've always like not agreed with the idea of like a priest being able to marry. Because I definitely think it's like, how can you be devoted to God but also have a family? Like you're not
exactly.
It's like having a cake and eating it.
Well, actually, no. I'll say the Catholic Church. Let's specifically talk about the Roman Catholic Church because there's 23 churches in full communion with the Catholic Church, and some of them churches do accept married clerics. So
yeah. Oh yeah, because they accepted them after when they converted, didn't they?
Yeah, no, there's like 23 official churches in communion.
Yeah.
Like some that are like Orthodox based, like Byzantine and stuff, and they can have married clerics. Although what's interesting in the Catholic, if you want to, let's say, have a life that's similar to that of a priest in a sense, but be married, then you can get married and then become a deacon. And a deacon has a lot of the things they do is similar to that of a priest. Just not everything.
They just can't act as Jesus, right? They can't do the.
Yeah, they can't do the Eucharist.
Yeah,
they can't listen to confessions. And I think there's one more.
I think confessions are useful in general. Like even if you're not, religious, I think confessions can be quite useful.
I was talking to other Christians about this, although some of them just completely don't agree with confession. A lot of them said actually the idea of confession is really good, and maybe we should.
I'd encourage confession to like people who even don't aren't even religious. I'd say it's definitely. Yeah. Sorry, your audio is kind of a bit dodgy there. Have you walked away as well?
Oh yeah, no, I think I moved back.
Yeah, it went a bit dodgy.
Yeah. you can't. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he can't reveal any of the things you say in the sacrament of confession.
Yeah.
You can't say to another person, Brian said that he did this. Sorry, Brian, if I like.
Sorry to all the Brians out there.
Sorry to all Brians who have sinned. I hope I don't get excommunicated.
You get excommunicated from the church for guessing something. Interestingly, I think I did just remember what question I wanted to ask you.
Do it quickly.
Oh, here we go.
This will be our final question, funnily enough. Obviously, the idea is that all forms of ejaculation and sex have to be in the process of impregnatation, which obviously leads to the question with. I think you may already know what this question is. Can a man be pegged with a strap on if there is a tube coming out his dick to then take the semen into the woman's vagina?
Why would they do that though? Can't they just do it the natural way?
I don't know. Bit of fun, maybe.
Yeah, a bit of fun.
What if something happens to the tube and the moment of procreation never occurs?
Yeah, but then I feel like because it's somewhat about intention, isn't it? Because like technically you could accidentally slip with your dick in the vagina and the semen goes everywhere, and like technically that would be the same sort of process. You could slip with a banana peel, let's say. And then it goes everywhere.
Are they married in the Catholic Church?
They are married in this hypothetical scenario. They are married in the Catholic Church. Because I'm pretty sure technically that covers all base. Like you can technically do that under that cover.
It's only the two of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's watching or anything.
There's
no soaking involved.
Although this situation is completely stupid, I believe that yes, this would be permitted.
We did it, boys. Catholic pegging. High five.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
And I can't believe that you're still bringing.
Let me
I
go.
actually bring it up to every dinner party I go
Sweet
to.
Christian woman to peg me.
Then I divorce her.
Yeah.
Okay.
No comment.
Okay. We're gonna do something we like to do all the time on this podcast, where we all in unison say it's dead to me, and it's always worked every time.
Yeah.
With the one podcast
Never
we've
not
done, we
worked.
never failed any podcasts.
Yeah.
We never made a podcast and then deleted it because of how horrifically it went.
Yeah.
So
That never happened.
it didn't. So,
Yeah, it's dead to me.
okay. So religion in 3, 2, 1.
It's dead to me.
Dead to me.
Yay! We all did it
Perfect,
in
again.
sync.
Yeah.
Like the band by Justin Timberlake. Anyway,
Splendid.
In sync like my dishes.